We begin tonight with the passing of Congressman John Lewis, an icon of courage and determination in the American civil rights movement, a thunderous voice for justice and racial equality in Congress. Lewis died at the age of 80 after battling pancreatic cancer, a civil rights trailblazer at the side of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the last surviving speaker from the March on Washington and the last of the Big Six leaders of the civil rights movement. Lewis suffering a fractured skull when white police attacked black marchers in Selma, Alabama in March of 1965. The day became known as Bloody Sunday. He returned this past March to commemorate the 55th anniversary of the confrontation that helped define his legacy. One of the final public images of Congressman Lewis, it is right here, standing in Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, D.C. The tributes pouring in for an American hero from Atlanta and across the country. John Lewis fighting the good fight to the very end, and ABC's Rachel Scott leads us off tonight.
Tonight, the world-honoring civil rights hero and Congressman John Lewis, passing away at the age of 80 after battling pancreatic cancer. He always said his philosophy was a simple one.
When you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have a moral obligation to say something, to do something, stand up, speak out.
Before he walked those marble halls of Congress, his blood stained the streets of Selma. In 2011, the Freedom Rider received the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Generations from now, when parents teach their children what is meant by courage, the story of John Lewis will come to mind.
Former President Barack Obama noting Lewis loved his country so much that he risked his life and his blood so that it might live up to its promise. His resolve tested but never wavered, returning year after year to the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give in.
And he brought his colleagues back with him, Democrats and Republicans marching together. Republican Congressman Kevin McCarthy calling it one of the greatest honors of his life.
I got arrested 40 times during the 60s. And since I've been in Congress another 5 times.
Even though I was under arrest, he said, I smiled because I was on the right side of history. Lewis proudly served Georgia's 5th District for over 30 years.
Without John Lewis and the civil rights movement, I would not be a poll worker. We would not have the freedom to vote.
He's changed the face of America. Such a great man, such a great loss.
In Washington, he was known as the conscience of Congress, the Democratic force who staged sit-ins in the Jim Crow South, sitting back down on the floor of the House, demanding gun reform.
Not next year, but now, today.
And he wasn't afraid to stand up to a president, skipping President Trump's inauguration and first State of the Union. Today, President Trump offered condolences, ordering flags to be lowered, tweeting he was saddened to hear the news of civil rights hero John Lewis passing. But Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said, you did not need to agree with John on many policy details to be awed by his life. In troubling times, Lewis always found a bright spot. One of John Lewis's last public appearances, standing here in Washington, D.C., boldly facing the White House, the words Black Lives Matter painted at his feet.
I do believe that as the sun set on John Lewis's life last night, the sun rises on a movement that will never die. Thank you, John. Rest in peace, my brother.
All right, Rachel Scott joins us now from Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, D.C. And Rachel, John Lewis called this time right now a special moment in our history.
That's exactly right, Tom. And about a mile away from where I am standing during the March on Washington, John Lewis called for equality. Nearly 60 years later, returning to this area back in front of the White House to see the words Black Lives Matter painted on this street. He gave a message of hope to the next generation that we will get there. Tom?
Rachel Scott leading us off tonight. Rachel, thank you for that.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.